Hi, and welcome to the Home Video Emporium. I'm your host, my name is Brendan, and with this series what I hope to accomplish is to catalog my entire collection of home video titles and determine which of these movies still belongs amongst my elite and esteemed collection and needs to be preserved for many years to come, and which of these movies unfortunately may need to be purged in order to make way for future movies that I have unfortunately ran out of space on my shelves and am still looking to add newer and newer titles. Also, I think this is a good way for me to go back and look at all my home video titles, whether they are DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, I got some VHS still, and watch them again, as a lot of these movies I have not watched in a while, and some of them I may have only watched once a long time ago, and we're going to see which of these are keepers and which of these unfortunately need to hit the trail. Today's episode is 1944's Arsenic and Old Lace, directed by Frank Capra, based on Joseph Kesselring's play. The movie stars Cary Grant, Priscilla Lane, and Peter Lorre. I think why I rented this movie the first time, why I got my interest in it, was just the title. I knew there was, blood and black lace, and I'd heard of Arsenic and Old Lace, and I didn't know what it was, whether it was similar, but it had a really catchy title. And so I rented it thinking it was going to be mainly a horror movie, but you see Frank Capra, I see starring Cary Grant, what is this? And I was kind of, really intrigued that it's, Cary Grant, who is kind of, our audience surrogate, is in a screwball comedy the whole movie. He's zany, he's wacky, he's over the top. He's reacting to everyone else who thinks that everything that's happening is completely normal. But he's like us, he's seeing everything and is just completely overwhelmed by it. And then at the end you have this real like horror movie element where his older brother and a doctor played by Peter Lorre come in out of some gothic horror movie. Maybe, like Universal monster movie they're always making reference to Boris Karloff in this. And it's this weird contrasting tone where, when Cary Grant, he leaves for quite a while and we're introduced to the brother and to Peter Lorre, Dr. Einstein, and it really does become a horror movie for a while. So we are mixing and matching a lot of tones in this. The Blu-ray here, which is from Criterion, it's not the greatest with special features. I have to say there is a radio play where I don't feel as if the actors are really giving it their all. It's not quite as exuberant as you get in the actual movie. I haven't listened to the whole thing, unfortunately, but I think it's less than an hour, and I just didn't find it anywhere near as compelling as the movie, unfortunately. So as far as special features go, this is not, one of Criterion's best. But as far as the movie goes, I think it's the beautiful, beautiful picture. You have really deep, rich blacks. You have dark shadows, really good contrast. There are a lot of scenes in the middle of the night where there's just a single light source, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's almost just pure black and white. There's no shades of gray. And it adds both, and it adds to the horror, and then there are also mixing comedy elements in it too, which is very, very, very strange. So I was actually curious with Frank Capra here. Has he ever actually done a full genre movie? Has he only done, mostly dramas? And as far as I can tell, this is his only time really tiptoeing along the lines of genre, making an actual horror movie. And had he actually just committed fully, I think he could have pulled it off. I think it's, as I said, the cinematography, which is great, by Saul Polito, and the music by Max Steiner, I think really does add to this real gothic horror feel. There's some great compositions. There's, in the beginning, Cary Grant, he's running over the phone to try to talk to a psychiatrist or the owner of a psychiatric facility, and he's framed through the beams in the stairwell, and it really shows, the prison that he's going to be in for the rest of the series. And there are some scenes where you almost feel like you're watching a Hitchcock movie, almost like Suspicion, also with Cary Grant, where you have the character in the foreground, and then there's the menacing character all the way in the background, and they're just barely lit. So really dynamic stuff, and it's really one. I don't know why Capra never really tried to experiment more with genre, try to make a pure horror movie, try to make a noir film. Just based on what I saw here, I think he was more than capable of pulling off genre and not just the dramatic stuff which he was so known for. And as I spoke with our before about Capra, what I said with Meet John Doe was his kind of cynicism, his satirical nature, and I kind of was watching it this time going, is he trying to actually say something in this play, or is it just a pure genre exercise where, it feels could he be trying to satirize his own self, where he is having this very wholesome family, the Brewsters, who everyone in the neighborhood of Brooklyn, they all know them, they all love them, and the two aunts, they're killing people, they're hiding dead bodies. The older brother, he's a serial killer, he's got all these crazy scars, he's completely unhinged. And I honestly don't think so. I think it's just a romp that even the two aunts, who, even though we're seeing them actual, murder, they've done a murder before the movie starts or attempt to do one during the movie. I don't think the movie ever judges them. Even when Cary Grant, obviously Mortimer Brewster, he stops them at their first attempt to commit a murder. I still don't think that the movie is painting the two aunts as villains. And I think the movie is just a pure romp. I don't think Capra is really trying to satirize, this kind of wholesome family in downtown Brooklyn. I think he's just trying to just make a fun and thrilling movie, which, sometimes that's not bad. And I apologize for Capra. We only have 2 movies in our selection, so not a big library to really digest and critique his career as a whole, to say how he's grown and not grown since Meet John Doe and Arsenic and Old Lace. The one thing I will say is that this movie definitely does show him being much more playful with the cinematography, with the music, with the mashing of tones. So he's much known for the movies with Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life, Mr. Deeds. He definitely was someone who I think could have been a much more interesting director had he really taken more chances and tried to get more challenging scripts and just explore much darker subject. I don't know why he didn't, but that being said, that'll wrap us up for Arsenic and Old Lace. It's our second in the Capra series. Just our ratings, I will go Meet John Doe 1, Arsenic and Old Lace 2, simply because I am a big fan of the Barbara Stanwyck performance in Meet John Doe. But nonetheless, Cary Grant is wonderful in this, as is the whole cast. So that's wrapping us up with Frank Capra. Obviously, there's quite a few other of his movies that probably belong in the collection, but we just did these 2. So let me know, what do you think of Meet John Doe and Arsenic and Old Lace? What other Frank Capra movies should I add? As I mentioned, there's quite a few of them, which are the must-haves that maybe are already in your collection and you are shaking your head that I don't have them. So let me know what Frank Capra movies are in your collection. Don't worry, we're going to talk quite a bit more about Cary Grant. So this is just the beginning with that gentleman. So until next time, be kind and rewind to each other, and it's not a true home without home video. Thank you. Good night.